Hi everyone, thanks for joining me for the new moon in Gemini, and this is occurring on May 22nd Eastern Time, 1:39 Eastern Time, but the times are going to vary. I'm Vickie Verlie, the Rock and Roll Prophetess. This is a psychic astrology forecast. I use astrology, but I'm just kind of using it as a jumping off point or tuning in process. And, we're going to go off the beaten path a little bit here. I try not to take myself too seriously. So if you're very strict by the book astrologer, this may not be the forecast for you. If you are somebody who doesn't understand astrology at all and is thinking, oh God, this is too much, hang in there, because it's going to get more psychic as we roll into this further along. Okay, so here it is. We've got all this Gemini energy. So we've got, of course, the new moon, which is the sun and the moon. And then we've got Venus conjunct Mercury, and then we've got Vesta, and the North Node has moved into Gemini. So there's a big shift into the Gemini energy. The nodes have changed signs, so that's kind of a big shift in energy right away. So Gemini energy is our minds, our thoughts, communication, short distance travel, speaking, writing, communicating, texting, emailing, all that kind of stuff. So that's going to be, very much emphasized. When I saw this chart, I felt like, I was a little bit like, because, Gemini is cool energy, it's great, and it's valuable, and it's needed in the world. But I think that right now, where we find ourselves, that it rules your mind, and it can be this so much emphasis on Gemini and the third house of the mind. I think that's what a lot of people are battling with right now. Your minds are running amok. Your mind is, too much. The hamster wheel thing again. You just get too much in your thoughts, and your thoughts and your thoughts can get really carried away. So I think that we have to be aware of that. While of course we need our thoughts, and thoughts are beautiful and wonderful and part of our lives, there's such an emphasis on this that maybe we need to pull back a little bit here. Maybe we need to pay attention, and it's like, am I overthinking this? Or if your mind, I find, just going to sleep a lot of times, taking a nap. If I'm getting too much in my mind, this, and this, what about this, or incessantly, trying to check stuff on the internet and, keep checking. Close the computer, turn it off, shut down the mind, and rest, give it a rest. On the other hand, with the Venus Mercury, now Mercury is the ruler of Gemini. You can see over here, third house, Gemini, Mercury, all the same energy. So the Venus Mercury together can be really creative spurts happening. And that could be in self-expression. Primarily it would usually be maybe something, with writing or something along those lines. So if you are a writer, you could really be in the zone. It could really be flowing and really coming to you, fast and furious and everything. And then if you're not, it just could be, kind words could be spoken. You could, making amends could happen during this, I'm feeling, Some of you, the Venus Mercury, you could meet somebody. I don't really know how, it might be online or something. It wouldn't be with the social distancing, it would be kind of difficult. But nowadays, a lot of people meet online. I'm picking up love letters. So somebody could be maybe writing or receiving love letters or emails, like that, or texts. Or maybe finding some. I know a lot of people are cleaning out all their houses and stuff. Maybe finding some old love letters or something. If not yours, then maybe somebody else's, like your parents or grandparents, or something like that. But there's a lot of really positive ways we can use this Mercury. We're going to have action-oriented. Go and do. I know we really can't go and do much, but third house actually is just your neighborhood. Start walking, maybe getting out and walking. Talking to people in your neighborhood, social distance, of course, in mind. But, this Venus Mercury is very pleasant and very nice vibration. The full new moon itself at 2 degrees is over here trining this Saturn Pallas thing. We got which is also a big shift of air energy that's happening right now. Saturn has been in Capricorn for a couple years. It's dipped into Aquarius. It's going to go back into Capricorn, but while it's in Aquarius, so we're vibing on this air energy. You know, Aquarius is the higher dimensions. Aquarius is, I'm hearing, the mother of invention, like the Frank Zappa band, but the mothers of invention, but it is. Aquarius is the realm of invention. It's the realm of brilliant ideas, brilliant flashes. This kind of aspects here could be like some brilliant ideas, brilliant flashes coming to you, coming through your mind, problem solving. You know, maybe somebody could really come up with something, you know, like to problem solve our collective problem here of this virus, you know. But it's a definite shift from Earth, which is grounded and everything, but Earth also rules material possessions, and then into the air energy, which is more mentally oriented, more verbal, more communication, more logic, thinking, not really grounded at all. Air is not grounded at all. Air is, you know, the old saying, oh, an airhead, you know, that's a negative expression of too much air energy. You can be a little bit of an airhead. Well, we've still got plenty of Earth to ground us over here and here, too. The other thing that's going on with this Venus-Mercury here, too, is it's squaring with the Neptune. So again, I just feel like the best way to use that vibration and that energy is creative expression. Because Neptune's is psychic, spiritual stuff. You know, and I was picking up about the old pictures, or no, it wasn't old pictures, it was old love letters and stuff. You know, this came up in some private readings too, or one private reading recently. You know, this might be something that, because Neptune, 12th house, these are your ancestors, relatives, spirit guides. You know, you maybe, synchronicities could be running rampant, and you could be getting them. Because I think they're always running rampant, we just aren't always getting them. We don't always pay attention to them, we don't always see them. So I think that they could really be running rampant, we could really be seeing them, and really getting, you know, getting the download, getting the, and I feel like if anybody is finding old love letters and stuff, that's definitely like some relative trying to communicate with you. Neptune, I'm hearing dusting off your old dreams. Yeah, with the Neptune squaring the Mercury and that, I think many people are dusting off their old dreams. You know, many of us as younger people, as children or young adults, you know, oh, when I want to grow up, I want to be an artist, or, you know, I want to do this, and then we find out society tells us, no, that's not a viable profession. You have to do some shit job that you hate to make money, you know, and we all buy into it, and we get some shit job that we hate, and we work it for however many years, 10, 20, 30, 40, you know, 50 years, and then now those shit jobs that we hate, we are not going to them in many cases. I mean, I'm still doing the same thing pretty much, but, and we can explore, dust off those dreams, explore our creativity again. I don't know how many people I've seen posting stuff online. Oh, I brought out my paints, I haven't painted in 20 years, and oh, or I'm doing this, I'm making clay again, I'm doing pottery again, or, you know, or I'm working on my book again, I put it away, you know. So dusting off your dreams is a big thing like this. And it's not just some, you know, it's not still stuck in the old narrative, oh, well, that's cute, yeah. Your drawings are real cute, but you better go get a real job. You know, it's not like that. It's, well, maybe this is your soul's calling. Maybe this is, you know, your true, I don't know, maybe you can't make a living at it. That doesn't necessarily have to be the motivation anymore. The motivation is, does it bring you joy? Is it a form of self-expression and you know, and whatever it might be. Maybe it's scrapbooking, or, you know, it just could be anything. It doesn't have to be, you know, necessarily a fine artist, or, you know, and you don't even necessarily have to be good at it, you know. It's because a lot of people put that stuff away. It's just like, well, you know, I can't draw stick, I can't sing, you know, I'm tone deaf. Somebody told you that, and then that was this narrative that you bought into for years and years and years. And now dance is definitely a part of it. Neptune is also photography, film. You know, in photography these days, I mean, the cameras that are on these phones are crazy good, you know. And you have a camera with you at all times, you know. I remember so many times back in the day, you know, seeing these, like, oh, I wish I had a camera right now. You know, how many of us can remember that? Oh, if I only had a camera. Well, you do. Now you do have a camera all the time. And, you know, back in the day, too, even if you had a camera, you know, you'd film, well, I only have 3 pictures left, and I got to save them for a kid's birthday or this and that, my nephew's christening, blah, 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 you know. You know, now you have unlimited photos that you could take, and, you know, this could definitely be some kind of, you know, photography, whatever. It could just be anything. But it's creative expression that's bringing joy, and it's guided by some higher stuff with the Neptune energy happening. There's some higher vibrational energy that is occurring and is able to break through the noise. I think that's a lot of it. Because, well, the Gemini that can be the noise, you know, that's our mental chatter, na. And then the Neptune is always there. The Neptune spirit guides are always there. You know, your ancestors are always there. The creative juices that's being broadcast from the ideas from the universe are always there. But when we're just so busy ourselves, when we busy ourselves with all this busy work and busy this, busy that, and I'm so busy, you know, I'm multitasking, you know, all that stuff, then we can't hear it, we can't see it, we can't feel it. So I feel like that this is a time when, yeah, that's what my guides are saying. I'm going to probably put another, I've been working on that book, I'm probably going to put another video up soon of, you know, excerpts or whatever. But the overall message is what they're saying is just to you know, be in the stillness, enjoy the stillness. You know, it's being calm, staying in the stillness. This is what'll get you, you know. I'm hearing that one way or another, I'm going to get you. So that it's trying, and that could be, this is the media too, and the press. Well, in the old days it was the press, you know. You know, and now it's the media. But yeah, it'll get you. And maybe they are trying to get you. It sure seems like they're trying to get you. I mean, I don't turn that shit on anymore at all. Not even for the weather. I mean, you can get your weather. I used to like to watch the live local weather report person, because it seemed to be more, you know, accurate than the weather.com or whatever. But I am staying 100 miles away from any of that anymore. You know, because it does seem like they're trying to get you. Or even, you know, just the emails, you know. Why is my cell phone company or my, you know, my internet company emailing me about this disease? You know, that it's just blasted in your face, you know. What does that have to do with my internet connection and my internet bill? Or my cell phone bill, or my water bill even? They're sending me emails about this. Why are you sending me emails about this? Just to constantly be get you, you know, getting you caught up in, oh my God, worry, oh my God, what am I going to do? Being peaceful and being still is the ticket. I mean, there's a lot more to it. I'm going to do another video soon with the excerpt that they talk about that, but pretty much the whole book isn't about that, but every time I go and I ask about this stuff, it's always the same. Just be still, be quiet, you know, it's okay, you know, it's not, go hard toilet paper, go do this, go do that, you know, they're not advising anything like that, you know, they're just saying, it's okay, this too will pass, and as many of us know, you know, you signed up to be a part of it, you know, this is what people in the New Age, or whatever you want to call it, spiritual community, have been talking about forever. You know, we thought it was coming in 2012. We thought it was coming with the harmonic convergence back in the day, and then we thought it was coming in 2012. Well, this is it. You know, it's kind of this. What I was just saying reminds me of my one friend who passed away. We used to laugh about it. Yeah, here we are. We're these professional psychics and everything, but if we actually see a ghost, we shit our pants. You know. You know, it's like, yeah, it's all good in theory. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm a metaphysical person, and oh yeah, well, it's just if you're just having a visitation, and we can talk to a client all about it and say, oh yeah, it's nothing to worry about, blah blah blah. But then if a ghost shows up in front of us, we're like, I'm running out of the room, freaking out and stuff. So I guess to talk about it is one thing, and to actually be living it is completely another thing. But, you know, it's okay. I think people are kind of calming down and settling down now. All right, well, we still have the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction. You know, and that's been coming up a lot in the reading. I'm doing those, by the way, I'm still offering those eclipse. The solstice and the solar eclipse are on the same day. So I'm offering that reading. If you want to see how that affects your chart, that'll be available for a limited time on my website. But that Jupiter-Pluto thing is real tight. It's real tight and a conjunction at that time frame. You know, about a month from now. And what's been coming through and what's the truth of the matter is, you know, yeah, Pluto's going to transform your life. You know, Pluto is death and rebirth, major transformation. Jupiter, though, is influencing and flavoring it. And, well, first of all, in your personal chart, it would say, you know, well, this is going to be for your highest good, and there's going to be some kind of blessings involved, you know. It's something that you needed to get out of. Maybe you needed to get out of that rat race, that grind, you know, that busyness, you know. If that's been transformed or taken away from you, that there's a silver lining with the Jupiter energy. What was the other thing that I was trying to say about? I had another point to make about that Jupiter. Oh, darn it. It flew right out of my head. Maybe it'll come back. You know, Neptune's squaring that, Jupiter's conjuncting Pluto, we talked about that. Jupiter's conjuncting Neptune, that's a pretty wide orb. Neptune is conjuncting Pallas, we could look at that. And then I like Pallas in Aquarius because I think of Pallas as an Aquarian energy. Even though Pallas Athena was a warrior, so it could be sort of an Aries energy, you know, Mars or Aries energy, but she was an inventor, you know, and I think that this inventive energy, well, we're reinventing our lives. We're reinventing a lot of things. It could be some kind of scientific discovery, though, for sure. You know, with the Gemini, what just came through, it could be a scientific discovery from somebody like a kid, or somebody that's not even, in the science thing. It might just be somebody that's just what we, I'm hearing the common people. I don't like that term, but that's what's coming through. Like the common people may come up with some solution, or somebody in, that's not some high prominent working in the top lab in the country or whatever. It could come through there, through that, in that way. That's what came through. But we're reinventing our lives, we're reinventing our lives. We're reinventing the society. I'm hearing society, religion. Oh, what song is that? No, I don't know. I'm hearing a society and religion. I can't think of the whole thing. Society, religion. Well, if anybody knows, put it in the comments. And I'm not just, randomly, if you've not seen my videos before, I don't just randomly spew out songs for the fun of it. These are my guides are coming through with these songs. And very often, they have messages in the lyrics. There's further insights that can be found in the lyrics. But back to this, yeah, we're reinventing society. 11th house is groups and associations. And it's like, the Aquarius energy is like mankind, humanity and stuff. So we are reinventing ourselves in that way. With the Jupiter-Pluto, let's try to not go back to the same old thing, even though that would be the Capricorn vibration. Doesn't like a lot of change. Uranus and Taurus doesn't like a lot of change. But this stuff, this is also sextiling this Neptune. We can dream, we can vision, we can envision, and we can dream a new reality. We can dream a new... The 10th house is also, and Capricorn energy is the top of the mountain and what we aspire to be. And traditionally it's been our career. We aspire to be successful. We aspire to be on the top of the mountain. That's where we want to be. That's, that's where it's at. That's what we're competing for. But you have to think of the Capricorn is the goat, but it's the sea goat too. It doesn't always get depicted that way. It's always just the goat, but it's the sea goat. And so it's half fish. So thus far, we've been just identifying with the goat part of it. The getting to the top of the mountain, being the most successful, butting heads if we have to get there, eating some tin cans if we have to get there. But there's also a fish part of it. There's a Neptune, the fish. There's that vibration that's not been addressed or not been, maybe not addressed, but not been embraced. And I feel like we could really be embracing that at this time. And the Neptune sextile here could really help that along. That maybe what's considered successful isn't fighting your way to the top. Maybe that's not what we're aspiring to or should be aspiring to. Maybe we should be more in the flow. Maybe we should aspire to be in the flow. Maybe we should aspire to be more connected to our emotions and our psychic and spiritual vibrations, which is all that. Maybe, you know, the Capricorn should be the perfect balance of both of those things. The practical, real world vibration, and then the psychic spiritual, the sea, psychic spiritual, and go, you know, feet planted on the ground, you know, and climbing the mountain. So I think that that's another thing that could be coming forth at this time and coming through at this time. Yeah, we got to talk about these nodes changing signs, because this is going to be in here for a few years now, this Gemini thing. So we came out of the Capricorn Cancer energy, and now we're in the Gemini Sagittarian energy. So the positive traits of the Gemini: think on your feet. You know, the Geminis, they're not sitting there telling. I attended bar for years, and that would be my worst nightmare if it wasn't busy and somebody, you know, wants to tell me this long, boring story that's supposed to be a joke. It's this pre-contrived humor. It's like, oh, and you have to stand there and listen to it, like, and act like it's funny. But Geminis aren't like that. They got the witty comebacks. I always love, you know, I find Geminis to be very refreshing, and I love being around them because they're so witty and funny, spontaneously funny, not telling some tired old story that you heard somebody else tell that's 5 minutes long and then you're supposed to laugh at the end. That was like torture. But Geminis aren't like that. They got those witty comebacks. They can think on their feet. They can move in an instant. They're ruled by Mercury. And Mercury is the guy with the wings on his head, on his helmet. Oh, Mercury does have wings on his helmet, too. That was another thing that came through in a reading recently. Huh. Never thought of that. But he has wings on his boots, also. I have to mention that to that person about Mercury having those wings on his head, on his hat. But anyways, so it's thinking swiftly, coming up with sparks of ideas, and then with the Saturn energy, it's like, because you can come up with ideas all day long, spark, 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 but then you need to, maybe take it to the next step, take it a little further, and that's where the Saturn in Aquarius comes in. Okay, well, I've got this spark of an idea, let's expand on it, let's brainstorm it, let's flesh it out here, let's unpack it, That's where the Saturn comes in. That's where we could have some long-term, something that has a lot of longevity and a firm foundation, and something that's going to be really, make a difference. Because you can spark out ideas all day, but if you don't do anything with them, they're like just a few minutes ago, I had one and it got away from me. If that's happening, then what good is it doing anybody? Other than being able to be witty and the positive side of this Gemini is, that quick mind. So take those quick thoughts, write them down at least. That's why I have notebooks. I'm always writing, or now I have, little notepads on my phone. I just talk on my phone real quick. And what I'm saying right now is I could be giving my own advice. I'm constantly spewing out little ideas or thoughts, and then they just fill up notebooks, and, I usually don't. Maybe I'll pull out a couple. I don't do a lot with them. I guess you really can't do with everything. But that kind of stuff is going to really be coming through. Like the floodgates are going to be really open here with the square to Neptune. Neptune's really getting activated here. Even though there's a huge stellium in Gemini, and there's just little old Neptune sitting over here by himself. He's interacting with everything around the whole wheel here. Even these nodes are squaring up with the Neptune, and that's going to come into a tighter orb, and as time progresses here. One thing I want to notice, and look at this, like this arrow. You can't, I look up at the camera, and I can see like this. There's an arrow just pointing over here to Juno, and Juno is the goddess of love and beauty. And it's in this sign of Libra, 7th house of Libra. I mean, so if you're looking for, even though we're in isolation or whatever this is, lockdown, whatever they're calling it, you know, if you're looking for love, that could show up for some people. Especially if you have planets here, like you have your Venus in Gemini, or some Venus at 20 degrees, or, you know, if any of these are sparking off your chart specifically, you can meet somebody. But look at how it just looks like an arrow. Again, that arrow is pulling back and it's firing off into Juno. So, you know, Juno and 7th house, these are relationships. These are our one-on-one relationships. Many of us, it's a two-edged sword. You know, many of us, if you're locked, I've heard people who are locked up with other people, like, oh, get me out of here. I can't, they're driving me up the freaking walls, you know. And then other people who live alone, you're missing that camaraderie. You're missing that contact with other people. So it goes both ways. But this is an area of focus. And Juno, I believe, is the god of love, goddess of love. And so it all comes down to love. It all comes down to love. It all comes down to cooperation, Libra. It all comes down to being fair and being just. This is also trining. We have a grand trine in air. We've got the new moon trine Juno here, and then trine the Saturn. Got a grand trine in air. I know a lot of people don't count Juno, and I don't really count the asteroids all that much. I mean, I work with Chiron a lot, but that's not really an asteroid either. But outside of the realm of the, you know, the standard chart stuff, I do use Chiron quite a bit. But there's something about this, how this is just all pointing right here. This is going, you know, this is where it can get a little bit, you know, too much. This reminds me of social media, you know, which I'm so over it. And then, you know, that's a two-edged sword too, because it's a social media, I'm so over it, but I also live alone, and, you know, if I want to have contact with other people, you know, social media is kind of like the way to go. But it's just so, people are so touchy, and they're just jumping all over you. And you can, you know, the sky is blue. What do you mean the sky is blue? You know, be 25 comments of people attacking you because you said the sky is blue. I mean, it's just crazy. They're just on edge and just ready to just go off over, you know, any little thing. It's crazy. So what's the way out? Love. What's the way out? Fairness, kindness. Libra's a kind energy. Venus is the ruler of Libra. So it comes back into play too. We've got the Venus here in Gemini with the new moon and with the Mercury. Gemini and communication is a two-way street. It's not just barking out your opinions. And anything that looks like it might be anti your opinion, you have to jump all over it and just ream somebody. You know, why? That's just... I mean, honestly, I'm afraid to post some things anymore, because it's just like, there's going to be somebody who's just going to go apeshit and, you know, attack you for it. And I think they're just venting their own personal anxiety and their personal, you know, fears and anxiety. And, you know, I understand that, but let's try to be aware of that. You know? I mean, what I do, if I see something that's crazy, I just scroll right past it. I don't stop and jump all over their shit. And if it's somebody who's continually posting things that are antagonistic or crazy, I just unfollow them, you know. I don't have to start on them and call them an asshole and, you know, you're crazy, you don't know nothing, and, you know, it's just ridiculous. It feels to me, I mean, maybe that's just my group of people, I don't know. But it feels so antagonistic, you know, it feels so... People are touchy. People are on edge, you know, and that's not the, I don't want to use the word danger, but that's the caution that we need to take with all this air sign energy, because, you know, in Earth, you know, you can get yourself grounded. You could go outside and garden, do some physical activity, which is beautiful ways to discharge the energy. But if you keep it in the mental realm and you keep, you know, and you're just running your mouth, you know, running your mouth this way, keyboard, whatever they call that, warriors, you know. I feel like all that does is escalate the anxiety. I don't feel like that's really helping you one little bit. You know, it's just escalating that energy further. And if there's something that you don't like, then stop blasting it on there. Stop, you're just amplifying it. So many people are against this or that. I'm not going to say anything specific, but you know, they hate this person or this politician, and then all they do is post about them. These angry posts. Is that, you know, all you're doing is amplifying. You're saying their name, you're showing their image, you're amplifying their energy. You know, it's too much. It's just too much. It gets overwhelming. I'm lacking air in my chart. You know, that's why this air energy to me can be overwhelming. I guess if you have a lot of air in your chart, you could revel in it. My whole chart, the only thing I have is Saturn and Aquarius. I have no other air whatsoever in my chart. So I'm lacking air. So when I get with somebody, like sometimes Libras, especially when they're drunk, and they just run their mouth, I'm like, oh my God, I can't take it. I need a lot of quiet time. I have a lot of water and earth, and I need a lot of quiet time anyway. You know, I need a lot of quiet time. I need a lot of peace. And this constant chatter, I can't take it. You know. But I mean, if it's your jam, then rock on with your bad self. If that's what you like, if you're into it, then cool. This could be your time to shine, I guess. You know, every reading is just colored by our own personal perspectives here. We do have the Chiron Lilith thing, and that's showing up real strong in that solstice eclipse reading. I've been really delving into this. This is some pretty deep stuff here, because the Chiron is the old wounds that we wound ourselves continually with, the old patterns that we don't want to break, or not that we don't want to, but that we find difficult to break. And then the Lilith is here, and she's going to lay it on the line and, you know, just say, well, call a spade a spade. She's not hiding anything. She's not pussyfooting around anything. Lilith is coming right out with it. So it could be in the form of another person. Maybe somebody, you know, says some harsh truth to you. Maybe it's something you don't want to hear. But maybe more likely, because if you don't want to hear it, you're not going to hear it. You know, more likely it's something from within. It's something where it's your own inner... I'm hearing the word remembrance, your own inner remembrance, but getting to the root of what's really bothering you. You know, while Chiron was in Pisces, it was kind of convoluted. It was kind of like vague, but now it's right in your face if you're willing to look at it. That's the thing. Are you willing to look at it? Stop chattering in your mind and starting fights with everybody on the internet and arguing back and forth or nitpicking with your partner in your house or whatever. And, well, you know, you always have to ask yourself that question, why am I so triggered by this? And you can go, it's hard. I find it hard myself. I'm like, well, why am I so triggered by this? You know, and this is some real harsh truths could be coming through about that, about why you're so triggered about different things, you know. And, you know, it's always something within you. You know, it's always something from within you. The guides were, there was something that happened the one time I was channeling, and the guides were, something happened that really annoyed me, and so I had to end up moving to a different spot and everything, and they were just saying, you know, the birds aren't annoyed by that. They carry on with their business just as the trees aren't. You know, nothing else. You're the only one who's bothered by that. And they just always are telling me to stay calm and emulate nature is another thing that comes through all the time with them. Emulate nature. The birds aren't bothered. The fish aren't bothered. The trees aren't bothered. They're still going on with their business, and it doesn't bother them one bit. Why does it bother you so much? They were saying that you don't have to let it bother you. And, you know, I just laughed, and I was like, yeah, that's true, but I guess I'm just not there yet, you know. And it's... Many of us aren't there yet. We're getting triggered. Our triggers are coming forth and being shown to us. And it's a good... Chiron really wants to heal it. Chiron's not just going to be trigger, like poking you with a stick for no reason. Just for kicks, for shits and giggles. You know? Chiron is poking you with a stick so you look at some things, you know? With Aries, within yourself. Aries. Okay? Alright, well... I go into a lot of this. If you want to get that reading, it will be available for a little while. I look at it in your own chart and everything, and yeah, that'll be available for a little while. This is the reading for now. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like my content and want to see more, please hit the subscribe button. I appreciate all your likes, comments, shares, subscribes, donations, everything that you do to keep this channel up and running. Remember that you are love and beauty incarnate, and have a great new moon in Gemini, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.